in the holiday time.
Okay. So it's
We've got a big program happening now for the
I was
summer.
going to think, yeah, it's close now. What are you doing in the summer?
GLA, via their community engagement team, they kind of engage with us and ask us to create a space like this one where people from the policies at GLA can meet people with lived experience and engage with them and understand or converse around burning question and concern they have, and essentially help them to write the right policy for them.
One of the things that I was kind of interested in was how, because City Hall works, or GLA works at a pan-London level, so you're supposed to look across the entirety of London and then develop policy and implement policies right down to like very, very local areas. So how do you make sure that you don't get lost, I guess, in your pan-London vision? How do you make sure that you're kind of constantly connected to those communities where your policies are actually meant to support and help?
Yeah. You know, the back of my mind for me is if you haven't got green space and you want to go out, where do you go? You know, just to have somewhere to go.
So green spaces are providing the nature connection that they would get if they travelled outside. And so if all of those are taken away, literally people that are born in the city and spend all their time in the city, when are they ever going to be connected to green space?
Like today just reminded me of the importance of the green spaces, because everyone was so passionate for different reasons, like ranging from like a social aspect to even like their own business. The benefits are health, activities for young people, friendships, whether that's amongst children or parents, alone time, wildlife.
Non-benefits are not maintained or cared for, built over, and is it sustainable? And we also said that we need more green activists.
Yes, green activists.
So personally, I've been going through some mental health issues in the past, and to me, green spaces gave me a place where I could just relax, unwind, detox, and over time, I've seen it be changed into a place where people just fly tip and litter. You know, so my reason for coming here was to understand to contribute to what I believe is my responsibility to try and bring it back and save it for the young people. Also,
I just want to build some kind of community space where people can come and have workshops, to use the spaces they want to use it.
So I'm from London Ground, and we're a London Ground Workers Cooperative, and we have a 7-acre site on the borders of Enfield, Haringey and Edmonton. Sometimes it's a really hard day's work, you know what I mean? But at the end of it, you just feel lifted. You know, you got the birds singing to you all day long. You know, it's just a nice feeling. It does build your well-being as well as your physical being. Builders, you know, the people who are building these huge, great tower blocks. You know, there's like 6, 7 tower blocks in a tiny space, and there's not a green blade of grass between them. You know, they're not thinking about the people. You know, they're in high-rise blocks, and they've got no outdoor space. They've got no space to relax, no space to gather, no space to get to know each other. They're just living in boxes. That's a recipe for disaster.
Because they were talking about their Ministry of Health and Wellbeing, where they go to churches and do stuff around health and wellbeing, and about how important that. Yeah, that's amazing, right? That's an amazing thing to do.
In terms of the local authority collaboration, it would be good for the communities to govern their own links. So to have that support and for someone in a local authority position to listen and put forward what they want. A lot of the things that came forward was education, and something I never really grasped when I was younger was education. I seem to find that now, in my later life, I would want to be educated more. I want to know more. And the collaboration within, the council, local authorities and even the GLA to find out what is out there fund-wise and what projects can we do to engage people and bring people in, especially young people who don't necessarily, who don't, like me, are stuck behind a computer, stuck behind a phone and don't get the time to go out and just let it all go.
For the practical actions, we spoke about 3 STEM clubs. We spoke about sharing, so knowledge, like creating structure for sharing as well. And then we also spoke about training within the community, so peer learning schemes where people can learn about growing food or allotments, for instance, and the process.
Also the cultural funds, so just looking at existing funding out there for community. And in terms of how we overcome challenges, we also talked about being realistic and making sure that we speak to the right people and collaboration as well. So kind of attending regular things like this. And for instance, when Sanchez and Bradley spoke about what they're doing, other people can connect to you as well.
To come to this discussion, to be able to talk with people at different levels, so someone from the GLA, someone from central government, and then people who are affected by the policies that are implemented. Exactly like Deirdre said, it's important for them to understand actually how these policies affect people on the ground. So rather than hear about policies being passed and then being annoyed or feeling a certain way, you have to be part of these conversations.
There used to be more events bringing people together around environmental issues, and perhaps they've declined a bit locally in the area. So just having these spaces and bigger, to bring people together to network and make those connections.
Events like this help you to create those connections on a very real level. You're talking to that person face to face, you're sharing ideas, and then hopefully what you come away with is something that leads into co-production. There has to be a platform for conversation where decision makers and people who are actually doing the work on grassroots and can see the things that need to happen are coming together on an equal platform. It's great.
Volunteer groups where people bring as much to the table as possible. So they may be different skill sets. There may be people that have got some science background, some sports background. They're not a group that are going to necessarily take something away. They're there to sort of offer what they can.
Over time, I've learned or I've come to appreciate the fact that even though you don't want to be in the political arena, the community needs a political voice. And when you're with the policymakers, it kind of makes you feel like you're valued. What you're contributing is valued. What I find is some of these funding applications, like now, just saying, for example, this opportunity, it's going to be closing in September. Now when summer is changing, winter is coming in. So why can't this be maybe in autumn ready, so that summertime, this is when the funds are coming?
I think you should take on board these comments. Because
It's really useful. Yeah. It's really useful for the green space funding. So it closes in September. The idea is then people have a year from January to December to deliver their project.
It would have been interesting, I guess, maybe to hear a little bit more feedback or a little bit more input from Deirdre in the sense of what it is that they are wanting to implement, so we can then actually have a discussion reflected, in the context of what they actually are planning to do or what they want to do. So I think that was maybe the only thing that was slightly missing, but I think it was great to give all the people an opportunity to speak, and there was some really, really positive feedbacks.
So it has been very, very interesting topic and discussion. There are so many things that has come up and they are quite relevant, and I'm happy that at the end there are people who can link with each other to collaborate and actually action upon the things that we discussed today.
Green spaces and urban environments are really important, and I'd love to see the development of that. It should be for everyone.